Thank you for being here, Congressman. You know, I got a kick out of this morning because I'm pretty well educated. I read a lot. I've been in the news business a lot. I've covered a lot. But in my job, it's important to understand the macro effect of everything. And you see some people that get so buried in the minutia, in the detail, in writing out, for example, every single question they want to ask you right now, that they don't even listen, Congressman, to what you have to say. And I look at that whether you're talking about the reporting business, whether you're talking about an athlete who's so concerned about everything he's doing in his golf swing, he winds up in knots and can't hit the ball, or whether you're talking about a politician. And I do think that Hillary Clinton suffered from this. She was so steeped in the minutia of everything, she lost her sense of what was right, what was wrong, and what was the best direction for the country. So, Congressman, when he says he's relying on his attitude, how much does attitude, how much does instinct play into the success of anyone?
Well, it's absolutely critical, Trish. And first, you're hired to be my new golf coach, because it sounds as though you've got your head around what makes that a success. But look at what the mainstream media did to the Obama administration. The Obama administration didn't do as much diplomacy with North Korea as Dennis Rodman did, and they got a total pass from the media. President Trump is well prepared on the issues that are most important: how to break through 70 years of war and conflict, how to create interpersonal trust with North Korea's leader so that we can build a system for verifiable denuclearization of the Korean Peninsula. I was with the president as far back as October, and he was preparing and thinking and discussing how he thought we could sew together the Korean Peninsula after so much conflict and war. He's well prepared, but to your point, we don't just want a microscopic analysis of little details. We need to have an effective wide-angle lens to be able to identify the major problems in the relationship. And I think also the president is setting low expectations because, as Kellyanne Conway and many others have said, with this team of President Trump and Mr. Pompeo and Mr. Bolton, we may need more than one meeting to be able to really get to the verifiable denuclearization that we're demanding.
You know, but Congressman, I think one of the reasons he was successful was because he saw through all the layers. I mean, I think back to the night, and I was in from our friend Lou Dobbs, and shortly after 7 p.m., we got word live on the show that not only had an invitation been extended to the President of the United States to go meet with Kim Jong-un, the President accepted it on the spot. Now, when you think of how different that is, right, from anything anyone else would have done, you got to check with your Secretary of State, who has to check with everyone at the State Department, who has to go through a whole bunch of research to make sure that this is the right move. And he just said, yeah, sure, I'll meet with him. And that's that sense of understanding a situation at a high enough level, but still maintaining some sense of instinct.
Mm-hmm. That's the key word, is instinct, and this president has elite instincts, whether it's judging how to keep the Democrats here on Capitol Hill so snarled around that they diminish the economic gains that we're making in the Trump economy, or on the foreign policy stage where the president is being an engager-in-chief. He's trying to ensure that we don't have to go to war on the Korean Peninsula. I'm on the Armed Services Committee. I know what the first days of war would look like with North Korea, and anything we can do to avoid kinetic conflict, to get ourselves on a path for verifiable denuclearization, it's absolutely critical, and it's this president's instincts that the American people trust. They saw the preparedness of Hillary Clinton, but they never believed that that preparedness would yield better outcomes, and it's the better outcomes we're seeing now.
It's a fascinating point you make. I mean, and I really think it can be applied to so many different things in life. You know, like they say, right, it's not always the kid that's like studying the most that necessarily becomes the CEO, but the one that understands not just what they're studying, but how to apply it into the world in which we live. And that's part of Americans' desire, Congressman, to get rid of bureaucracy, to get rid of layers, and to have some sense of self, and frankly, Congressman, leadership.
And vision and common sense. And when I go back home to Florida, I hear from so many folks that they'd like to see common sense in Washington.
I'm going to jump in, and I don't mean to talk over you, but we've got